The student who outsmarted the CIA. It began in a college dorm room. Not in Washington, not in some high-security lab, but in a cramped space with peeling posters, a broken lamp, and a second-hand laptop, where a student, barely 20, stumbled into a game he was never supposed to play. He wasn't a genius in the way movies tell it. No glowing math equations in the air. He was restless, curious, obsessed with puzzles. And he had a habit of digging into places that weren't meant to be touched. One night, while testing his skills, he found a door online. Not a literal one, but a hidden entry into a server. And behind that door, something impossible. Files, coded messages, pieces of intelligence. He didn't know it yet, but he had wandered into the digital bloodstream of the CIA. Most people would panic. He didn't. Instead, he looked closer. He realized these weren't just files. They were training exercises, communication logs, simulations used to test field agents. Ick! He understood a truth that should have terrified him. He could predict their moves because the system was letting him. Days passed. What began as an accident became a secret obsession. He wasn't stealing money. He wasn't sabotaging. He was playing. Playing against the most powerful intelligence agency on Earth. And winning. When CIA analysts finally noticed irregularities in their system, confusion spread. It looked like their own agents were being outmaneuvered in training. Missions failed in simulation, data rerouted, passwords guessed with eerie precision. And then came the question no one wanted to say aloud. Is someone outsmarting us? For weeks they searched for a mole, a foreign spy, a traitor. But what they found was a college IP address, bouncing from campus Wi-Fi to library computers. A trail that led not to Moscow, not to Beijing, but to a dorm room filled with textbooks and empty pizza boxes. When the knock finally came at his door, the student thought it was a prank. But the badges were real, the questions were sharp, and suddenly, the game was over. Here's the twist most people don't know. Instead of prison, instead of vanishing into a scandal, the CIA gave him an offer. Work with us, or fight us. Some say he joined. Others claim he refused and disappeared. Friends who knew him insist he was never the same again. Always looking over his shoulder. Always speaking carefully, as if someone was listening. Maybe they were. But what's undeniable is what his story revealed. That even the most powerful institutions on Earth can be undone by a single mind. With curiosity and courage, it forces us to ask, if a student with no army, no resources, no training could outsmart the CIA, then how fragile is the world we trust? The story isn't really about hacking or espionage. It's about power. And how sometimes the greatest power belongs not to the agencies or the generals or the politicians, but to the ones willing to ask the forbidden question. Because every empire, no matter how secure it seems, still has cracks. And sometimes all it takes to reveal them is a single student in a dorm room staring into the glow of a laptop screen.